Hello and welcome to another edition of The Slice. Here on The Slice we talk about everything from ancient alien theory to extraterrestrial visits in the future, past, and current. We also talk about abductions and other interesting items of archaeology, out-of-place artifacts. Make sure you check out Matthew Bauer's site on www.therealmj12eyes-to-the-sky.com, and also check out Clarence Mitchell with his Blog Talk Radio, and Kimberly Wright with her Ancient Aliens Chat every Friday night during the show, before the show and after the show. So make sure you check all that out. And now let's get on with this week's subject on The Slice. Enjoy the show, folks, and make sure you comment and subscribe. Take care now. Okay, so in order for us to understand out-of-place artifacts, we have to understand the Ice Age rotations. And as you can see, there were 5 Ice Ages. They pretty much decimated the Earth all 5 times, one time completely covering the Earth. So let's take a look at the last Ice Age, the one that affects us the most. And here you see the Laurentide ice sheet over North America. You get the glacial maximum there at basically where they've been finding all the giant remains at the lower end of that. They probably built right up along the glaciers. There'd be fresh water and wildlife right there. So as I said, there were times of complete polar coverage of the world, and during those time periods it's near extinction. Only very few places escaped such things. Now if you look at this next chart, you see how, let's see, very, very warm. See, if you look at the far right, you'll see that we're still in the Ice Age. I mean, we're not coming out of it. When we come out of that, once we come above that line again, you're going to see very little ice on Earth at all. Okay, so now, this is the Panama Jaguar. Now, this is a race that supposedly didn't know anything about the wheel, and yet there's a wheel on this thing. Huh. So, kind of odd. Now, let's move on to something that's really cool. Everybody's seen this picture of the embedded rock. And in June of 1936, Max Hand and his wife Emma were on a walk beside a waterfall near to London, Texas. Now, they noticed a rock with wood protruding, and they decided to take it and crack it open. They found this hammer rather. They dated it to more than 400 million years old, and the hammer itself turned out to be more than 500 million years old, and had begun to go into coal. This sedimentary rock here is about 1 million years old, give or take a million. But it looks like a lot like a transistor. I don't know what further testing has been done on that, but there it is. This has been classified as a clay tablet, and yet it looks like a cell phone with Roman hieroglyphs on it. Kind of odd. Alright, now, here's a story that you'll like. In 1944, a 10-year-old boy, Newton Anderson, dropped a lump of coal in his basement, and it broke in half when it hit the floor. Now, what he discovered inside defies any explanation. It was a handcrafted brass alloy bell with an iron clapper, a reptilian human replica on the top, had an iron clapper and a sculptured handle. It was discovered the bell was an unusual mix of metals, different from any known alloy production. The seam from this coal was estimated to be 300 million years old, and so that's extraordinary to say the least. Other strange finds have been humanoids on dinosaurs. That actually looks like reptilian on a dinosaur, which makes sense because personally I believe that the reptilians evolved with the dinosaurs, and that's how ancient man knew what dinosaurs looked like, is that mankind was around. Now, displayed in a museum in Glen Rose, Texas, is this cast iron pot found in 1912 by a guy feeding coal into a furnace or a power plant. They even had the impression of the pot in the coal. You know, another similar report someone found a iron thimble about 300 feet deep. Of course, the scientific establishment refuses to admit that these, or even these footprints, mean anything. I don't know. Modern humans supposedly only evolved 200,000 years ago. That defies explanation. Things like these balls here that are found, they've been finding them actually a lot of places lately. You know, and this here is a fairly modern sedimentary rock compared to some of those million-year-old ones. I'm not sure of the backstory of this, so I'm making no claims. The microchip in the rock, now that's cool. It's being tested by Polytechnic University. They found it has characteristics of microprocessing capabilities. So, you have a very similar item in the next photo that looks rather manufactured, although it might be a life form. Hard to say. I'm kind of out on that one. There's another one too that's coming up that the jury's kind of out on. But I wanted to put this one up again because some of these I haven't included in my past out of place artifact shows. So here's an interesting one that's beside a whole bunch of sea life beside it. This could well be a piece of sea life. Nobody seems to know for sure. Here's another angle on that picture there. Looks like definite calcium, like you'd see inside of a shellfish or something in the middle. Hard to believe. And here's something found in Russia in the North Sea. Well, you see how all those washers and stuff are all stacked up. Whole bunch of stuff, all in one hunk of rock. Here's a hunk of metal, 140 million years old minimum, approximately. They found a hunk of metal in the middle of a geode. Very, very interesting, which means it was in molten rock at one time, I guess. Be interesting to know what kind of metal that is to sustain that kind of heat. And of course this bad boy here was also found in coal. Quite old, 400 million years old. Nice candlestick holder though. It does seem very familiar in design. Perhaps some of the ancient design is carried forward. And of course, in 1891, Mrs. Culp found a nice gold chain in the middle of her coal. And so that's quite amazing. So, folks, just open your eyes. There's a lot more. There's thousands of these things tucked away. These out-of-place artifacts. Check them out. Just put an out-of-place artifact search in YouTube or Google, and you'll get all kinds of stuff. Take a careful look at your Ice Age timelines and the ages of these things. You can see what happened. Okay, folks, that sums up another edition of The Slice with your host, Bill Peters, contributing to this wonderful episode where several of you in the Ancient Alien Theory group, I'd like to thank you all. And don't forget, check out the real MJ12 EyesToTheSky.com. That's right. And Happy Vowels will take you on a journey and you won't soon forget. Don't forget it. Kimberly Wright and her every Friday during the Ancient Alien Show. She has her live chat. And Clarence Mitchell at his Blog Talk Radio. Check it out, folks. See you next time on The Slice.